I've always had a really big vision for Taste of Pensacola. I knew that it could go beyond just local. I know that maybe other communities could possibly use the same platform that I'm trying to build. And I always have these big visions, but I never know how to even get there. Where do I start? I know it's more than, there's a lot of technical things behind.
Looking for ways to make your business idea grow? Look no further. Kukua Institute invites you to Startups on the Blocks every Thursday at 6 p.m. Central Time. There you can network with fellow founders, get the training and practice, as well as all those resources that you need to make that business idea successful and profitable. Again, that's Startups on the Blocks every Thursday at 6 p.m. Central.
I've always had a really big vision for Taste of Pensacola. I knew that it could go beyond just local. I know that maybe other communities could possibly use the same platform that I'm trying to build. And I always have these big visions, but I never know how to even get there. Where do I start? I know it's more than, there's a lot of technical things behind it. I know there's a lot of research, but that connection, I never had it until, thankfully, I met and was introduced to Startups on the Blocks, and was able to just learn more about how to grow it in terms of data. Things I just never thought about, framework, words like traction. There's a lot of things that I just did not know about and language that I need to know in order to get funding for my business. There's just a lot that I didn't know.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Startup on the Blocks. Welcome, Jesse. Welcome, Bree. Glad to have you here. I was playing with some stuff and messing up the stream there a little bit, but I'm glad we have some.
To be here, Lord. Thank you for inviting us.
Oh, fantastic. Glad to have you all here. So first, I guess we'll get started thanking our sponsors. And so let me kind of get my screen up here. So how's you all's week been so far?
I've been having a really good week. I'm just getting ready for these holidays and just really looking forward to some relaxing time away and with family. So,
Yeah, me too, Bree. I tell you, this week has been so heavily engaged with just trying to get ready to launch new projects in January. So, Lloyd, I tell you, when I think about how my week has been, it has been extremely busy and inundated with tasks that beyond my measure. I have a lot to do, but I'm grateful. I'm very grateful.
Right. And so we're definitely glad to have you all here today and to kind of share some of you all experiences from some of the training programs you all been in. But first, let me just take a minute to thank our sponsors here. Of course, Florida Power and Light, they're supporting us. Innisfree Hotels. Let's see if I can get my cursor to work here. And the First Bank, they've been providing funding for our pitch competitions. And so we were so excited, that we can give founders an opportunity to pitch their ideas and everything. And so we also, did some partnering with the Small Business Development Center and both of the chambers, been helping us out as well. And of course, Chris with Bantucola, and he's streaming. I noticed the stream popped up on LinkedIn and YouTube and some of the other places, so that's pretty exciting. CoLab, we're glad to have them, joining in and donating in-kind products for our pitch competitions as well. And we also brought on Startup Science as a partner, and so we will be sharing some stuff tonight that we've expanded, that partnership and have some more training available for our founders. That's really, really exciting. So, Dr. Griffin, would you take a few minutes to kind of give us like a little intro for yourself and your startup?
Absolutely, Lloyd. Thank you. As Lloyd said, my name is Dr. Jessica Griffin. I have been here in Pensacola since 2006. I've been an entrepreneur Since 2004, I started my first business in the state of Maryland after I decided to come out of corporate. I used to work for PricewaterhouseCoopers and launched my first company, which was a training company for interns at government entities. When I moved to Pensacola, Florida, I decided to partner with my business partner, John Rigsby, and he and I own several companies together. But Eduasi is our education technology company. We just recently received a patent on our micro content courses, which is what we're currently working on to hopefully launch mid the first quarter. So I would say around February or March, we'll be launching that prototype to start testing it in schools. Right now, we have about 11 schools that we're targeting to test our product. I am also the CEO and chairwoman of our nonprofit organization called the Urban Development Center Incorporated, which also is framed, all of our companies are framed around education and training. And that's about it. I just love doing business. I'm thankful that I'm able to work with individuals that love doing business as well in our community, and I'm here to serve and assist as much as I can. So I'm happy to be here. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Bree?
Hi, everyone. Thank you again for having me, Lloyd, and so nice to be here tonight. My name is Brenda McCassell, and I'm the founder for McCassell Consulting. I work primarily with small, medium entities that are looking to do growth acceleration and also get access to capital. I work with those different types of clients to kind of coach through those difficult situations and do financial analysis so they can have a better grasp on, if they're able to digest the growth and if they're looking to break into new markets. So just a pleasure to be here. Thank you again for having me.
All right, we're glad to have you both here. So let's go down the list here. So why do we do Startup on the Blocks? And so as a founder, when you have an idea of what you want to try to bring to the marketplace, and so typically a founder, just it's all over the place until they can actually figure out what they do. And they hope they can figure out what to do before they run out of money. And I hate to laugh, but that's really what the dilemma is you're out there struggling, you're not sure how to raise money, you're not sure how to pitch your idea. And so you need to follow a process that's going to get you through that maze before you run out of money. And that's what this slide is trying to show. And so what Startup on the Blocks, what we try to do is we try to help you learn the founder mindsets, the individual mindsets that'll kind of get you through that maze. But what we also do is we provide you training and kind of like a roadmap to kind of go from your idea all the way to launching your business and also dealing with the investors, et cetera. And there are a lot of opportunities out there in the ecosystem and for startups. And that's an idea it's hard for people to swallow, that there is a lot of help out there in the ecosystem. But the way you unlock that help is you have to learn the skills of being a founder and the best practices so you can kind of communicate what you're doing to the people in the ecosystem. But so guess what they say, your mindset will actually take you a long way. If you have the right mindset, you can, it actually trumps the skills. You just have that right mindset to kind of move forward. And so, we'll take just some quick looks at some of the like if you're at an idea stage, you got to go through these sequences to get to something so you can scale up. So that's one way to look at it. Here's another way to look at it. So we take founders through this particular journey. And what I like about this journey is you spend the first part of the journey on designing a business model for your idea. And so founders will come to you and they have a great idea and they're so passionate about it. And so the question is, how do you make money with that idea? And that's your product. You pitch that product even at the idea stage, and you can unlock some of those resources that are out there in the ecosystem. And that's what the great thing about that journey. And then once you get that business model design, then you can start, validating that business model and generating some demand for your product or service.
Mm-hmm.
Here's another look at it, and so from the startup science company, and so it's basically the same journey, but they have a training that gets you through all these different phases of that journey, from the visioning part at the beginning all the way to the. And the good news is we'll get into a little bit more detail later, but we actually have this training program now, and we announced it in the email out to our founders. So you actually have the opportunity to actually take this training to move through this process. And I'll stop right there. But so you all got any comments about your journey or just anything in general about founders and how do they get from point A to point B? So, like Jessica, I know you and John, your co-founder, y'all been working on your Edgeosity for a while now.
Yes, we have, Lloyd. We've been working on Edgeosity for, let's see, we launched Edgeosity in 2016,
Mm-hmm.
and it started from, actually it evolved with the work that we did with our nonprofit,
Yes.
Urban Development Center Incorporated, where we offered soft skills to our clients who have disabilities. And what John and I found is that individuals that have disabilities have challenges learning in what you call regular ways in the classroom with the teacher. Sometimes that type of learning is not the most optimal learning. So we decided to look at other avenues to develop opportunities for to develop the practical learner. And that's how we launched micro content courses. As you very well know, John and I have participated in several startup programs and developing and reshaping our product. Finally, let's see, last year, well, actually in 2021, we were able to receive our patent on micro content courses. So after we received our patent, that kind of gave us the opportunity to advance to other areas and startups for more dollars and consideration. So we've been applying for different programs that we can actually present and actually get support and get investors to invest in our product. What we also found out is that our structure of our company needed to be modified because most investors want to invest in a company such as a C Corp. So that is one of the things that I will share with startups. Make sure that your structure is correct so you don't have to go back and redo something. We thought our structure as an LLC would be the most optimal solution for us, but we're finding out being a C corporation is the best because investors want to be able to see how they're going to benefit if they give you dollars. What is the takeaway for them? And being an LLC does not allow you to be a stock promoted company, but being a C Corp does allow you to give shares and to even offer some kind of promotion where investors will look at you and say, hey, this is a consideration for me because I can get something out of it. shares, or if I give an investment, I can get my dollars back double. So just make sure that the structure of your company is the most optimal, especially if you're looking for investment.
Gotcha. So Bree, did you have a comment before I get to the question here?
Well, I was thinking for me, one thing I wanted to share to those that are joining is that no matter what level of education that you may have, whether like you've gone on to get your master's or your doctoral degree, it's always important to have a growth mindset. So if there are opportunities out there for you to learn, if there are opportunities out there for you to grow and to expand your business, take advantage of those programs, because we live in a society where technology is not only changing rapidly, but the way we do business is also changing. So you have to be agile, and you have to have that mindset that to constantly sharpen and grow your skill set so that you can be at the top of your field or industry that you're operating in.
That mindset. That's mindset. So, Dr. Griffin, it looks like Carlos has a question for you.
Yes. Carlos is my one of my mentees. So, Carlos, I'm happy to see that you are participating in the network tonight, and I'm just happy to receive your question. Yes. Let me tell you a little bit more about micro content courses. We design micro content courses around something called the Universal Design for Learning. And because we designed it around Universal Design for Learning, it takes into consideration all types of learners. So, Carlos, yes, we do work with students with Asperger's or any other students that may have any challenges with their learning abilities. We even work with students where English is their second language. So we even offer our product in several languages, not just English. We offer in Spanish, French, and I think Italian. And we're going to offer some more languages as well. But those are just a few that we have on board right now.
Yes. Okay. Fantastic. So I guess the reason why you all are on tonight, you all, I'll put it this way, with the startup on the blocks, we try to connect founders with opportunities, training programs, et cetera. But so both of you all took some training recently. Bree, why don't you tell us about the training that you took recently?
So recently, I had the opportunity to participate in CEO. It's a training program that is in part put on by TechQuest Apprenticeship, which is part of the Department of Labor. And it's led by Clark University, their public consulting group arm. The program is a 10-week program, so it ran from September to November. And during that program, it gave me an opportunity to work through several modules and also complete a pitch contest and also do group work. A lot of times when you're working in a lot of projects, whether it's a project for your own firm or collaborating with other companies, typically it creates a group setting. So it's always nice to be able to work and collaborate with individuals. The program for me was super beneficial. It was something that I learned about. I applied for a scholarship. So it was actually a program that was paid for me. And then our group actually went on to win the pitch contest. So we actually won money for our ideas and for the concept that we developed. The modules, they ranged. Some of the modules focused in on what is a entrepreneur? Why is entrepreneurship important? Some talked about social problems and social responsibility, really different layers of concepts, everything from generating a business idea, doing the marketing for that idea, some of the basic fundamentals for economics, the supply and demand curve, really introducing those ideas and making them in a way that were very digestible. Um, Other things talked about, competition, and they really did dig into the lean canvas model. And for those that are out there that are, watching, the lean canvas model really focuses around 9 concepts that have to do with building a value proposition and then figuring out how your revenue stream will be relevant, expenses associated with the business, and then figuring out the financials of that business, like what are going to be your key activities to make sure that you're successful. And then, of course, those key underpinnings of like who is your market, how will you effectively communicate with that market, those key customers, what is their need really, because it's all about solving a need for that particular target audience. And then it did delve into legal structures, making sure that you pick the legal structure that matches up with what you want to do with your company.
Great, 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 great. So, Dr. Griffin, would you tell us a little bit about the program you were in?
Yeah, I want to ask Bree a question.
Go
If
right
I,
ahead.
now, was your program geared toward women, or if anyone could participate? How was your program structured in that way?
So we actually had a mixed cohort. So
Mhm.
some of the participants were business owners already, like
Mhm.
myself. Some of them were entrepreneurs just getting started, and we also had participants that were just graduating, from getting their BA or BS, and they were looking to leverage those skills and go into entrepreneurship. So it was a mixed group. I don't know statistically if it had more women to men, but to me
Mhm.
it seemed like pretty evenly distributed. But our particular group were all women.
Oh, that was cool. Now let me ask another question, which I was interested in knowing as well. Was the Do you think you benefited more from participating in the process, even though you were not working directly on your business? Do you still think you benefited from participating as an entrepreneur?
Absolutely, yes. And the reason I say this, I went to school and earned my master's in business, so I'm really familiar with, what it takes to run a business. But the
Mhm.
the coursework kind of reminded me of some things that I had, not actually used in a while. One of those things that kind of like just off the top of my head, I remember the competitor matrix. And if you're not familiar with the competitor matrix, it's basically you go out and you consider other individuals in that industry that will offer a similar product or maybe even a substitute product, and
Mhm.
really diving into, okay, what is it that they're doing that I really like? What is it that they're doing that I, don't want to do? By learning from a company that's already operating, you can kind of avoid some of those mistakes, right? So that was just something, of course, I had been exposed to the idea, but I hadn't done a competitor matrix in a while. Other things, it was just refreshing to, work in a collaborative environment where you're hearing the ideas and expressions of other entrepreneurs. Kind of like why we
Mhm.
meet here every week at the Kukua Institute, is you want to learn best practices and
Mhm.
really benefit from the learning environment that others have had, right? They share things with you like, oh, I used that method. I either did not like it or I was benefited by that, right? And it's also, it is interesting because I have one set, of I guess perspective
Yeah.
that I bring to the table. But then when you when you have we had a cohort of 30 individuals. We have 30 individuals, and they're all pouring their heart, energy, and soul, and sharing what works for them, what didn't work for them, and really, considering how is it that I take my idea, my concept, and really show the difference between what's already out there on the market, or how do I make this uniquely different than what is already happening out there, right? Sometimes
Mhm.
you might not be coming up with necessarily a brand new idea or
Yeah.
concept, but if you can make the user experience better, that could
Mhm.
give you the upper hand, or the differentiator to help you sell more or to achieve whatever sales goals you're trying to accomplish. So for me, I like that environment. I thrive in
Mhm.
those types of environments where I'm talking to other entrepreneurs who are just as interested in building their business and reaching the right person. So that was also, I could share some of the things that I have experienced, and then some of the things I may have not been as familiar with. Someone else maybe had gone through that process a little bit more. So that's the nice thing about working in collaborative groups and cohorts. Just so diverse, and so
Mhm.
we weren't all in one area either. So I'm located here near Northwest Florida, not too far from the capital. We had individuals plugging in from all over the country, so it was really cool.
Yeah. Well, thank
That's
you,
cool.
because I'm interested in participating in your same program. So that's why I asked those questions for selfish reasons. So thank you for indulging my questions. Lloyd, thank you again for asking me about the program that I participated in. Now, the
Yeah.
program that I participated in was the Bank of America's Institute for Women's Entrepreneurship program at Cornell University. Unlike Bree's program, it was strictly for women, and you had to be in business 0 to 5 years. So you couldn't just have an idea or a concept. You actually had to have launched your business and at least started some steps toward building business. Um, and that was the beauty of the program. We had in this, we did not have a cohort. So individuals could join at any given time. We had 6 core courses that we had to participate in. And I may have been in the same course with maybe out of maybe 50 or 60 people, maybe 7 or 8 of the people I would be familiar with from previous courses. So you always had quite a diverse group of women participating. The one thing that I enjoyed about my program is that women were able to share about their experiences as being entrepreneurs, the struggles that they have, um, with not just going to apply for different funding, but even talking to male counterparts about their business, or even being in business as a co-founder, as a woman, the difficulties and the challenges that they face. So it was really a great opportunity to share about your struggles, your vulnerabilities that you may have as a business owner, because as women, we sometimes are fearful about going out trying to build business. We want to so desperately, but because we're not, what's the word? We're not innovative enough, creative enough, or we haven't built the capacity to do business. Sometimes we are reserved and we pull back and we don't continue to pursue our dream for launching a company because we have not built that the credibility or the confidence, because we have the competence, but we haven't built the confidence because we definitely want to be successful. And a lot of times, as you know, Bree and Lloyd, when you're starting a business, you're going to get some scrapes and bruises. Building business is not easy. It's an evolution. And sometimes you have to step back when you know that you're trying to go in a specific direction, just like what I shared with you earlier about us being set up as a LLC, and now we found out we have to switch to a C corp. All of those things are growing pains, but that's the beauty of business. Going back to my program through Bank of America Institute at Cornell, we had 6 core courses, and I just wanted to share with everyone that's participating tonight about a little bit about each course. The first course in my program was called Creating Your Venture, Personal Readiness and Customer Discovery. So I just wanted to give you the objectives of that particular course. The first one was explore the challenges of entrepreneurship that are unique to women. The second objective in that course was to develop clear personal and business goals so you can align your business concept with your needs. The third objective was to assess and improve your psychological, sociological, and economic readiness for entrepreneurship. And the fourth objective was to prepare for meaningful customer discovery conversations to ensure you will have a market for your product or service. Now, one of the things that I found and I'm very, very grateful for, and that's another reason why I asked Bree to share with us about her experience, because it sounds like, Bree, you may have been face to face sometimes and maybe on Zoom like we are other times. But I found that because we were all online, it kind of took away from the interactive. You know, we all had to just participate online. And I think when you're a launching a business, it's critical that you can just be in the room with the people that you're collaborating with. If you're having discussions going back and forth, online can sometimes hinder you from even your creativity and your innovation and your discussion, because you're going back and forth. And sometimes when you're online, I found that when I posted in my discussion questions, it may have taken people a couple of days to respond. So in that sense, I saw that as a hindrance, even though it was great, but I would have loved if I could have had immediate response about certain things, because you lose it in the moment if you don't keep the readiness ready and pushing and the excitement going. I found a lot of people were dropping from our courses because it was, first of all, it was very intensive. We had a lot of work, a lot of assignments that we had to complete. So if you were asking questions and people didn't get back to you, sometimes that was quite challenging. The second course that we took in my program was called Entrepreneurial Communication, Presence, Persuasiveness, and Negotiation. This was really a great course because you assess your own entrepreneurial presence and created a plan to further develop that. And we also wrote an informal persuasive pitch that we could adapt for any situation and audience, and kind of share. If you think about your elevator pitch, so think about that in a more advanced, more tailored experience. So we were able to develop that. Of course, because I've been in business for some time, it was a refreshing revisit to be able to take my pitch and kind of work on it a little bit more and tailor it, because sometimes when you've been in business for some time, it's difficult to step back and see where you need to tweak something. So that was quite refreshing for me to be able to look at the pitch that John and I were currently using and seeing how I could tweak it. And Lord, let me know if I'm taking too long, because I have.
You're good, and that's the idea. We want to make sure
Okay.
people are aware of these courses, because you're saying there's another session coming up sometime next year.
Yes, it is. It is, and I'll share that information at the end after I go over these courses. I think it's important for people to know what is available. And I also wanted to say this: even though the courses are geared, the program is geared toward women. Something that one of the leaders from Bank of America Institute shared: if you are a person that works with women, then maybe you should apply for the program, because I mean, and it's so funny. And they were strictly talking to males, because sometimes when you are co-founders, women and men are just different. We process different, we present different, and our perspective, we just have a different flair. So I thought it was really great that they opened it up to males, especially if they work very closely to females. So, gentlemen, if you're out there and you are a co-founder with a female, you may want to consider applying too. You would have a chance, and I think it would be a great opportunity for you to just delve into how women really feel and think about doing business with the opposite sex. Funding your venture and business planning was the third course that we was introduced to in this program. And the objectives here were to use key metrics to create a pro forma financial model that you can use to determine how much capital you need at various points in your venture, which was an excellent course because John and I use Gus.com to help us develop our pro forma, that, to be able to understand all of the elements and the components that are involved in this process is very, very extensive. And this is not a document that you can complete over 1 or 2 days. You really have to think about it. So if you're thinking about investments, if you're thinking about all the things that you need to really run efficiently as a company, then this is definitely a program for you, because it would definitely introduce you to it. And as Bree's program, we also use um, Lean Stack as the element for our processes. So that was a good thing. We all had to go through that, even though I did not admit to already having exposure to Lean Stack. But that was a good thing, because I didn't have to come up to speed on it, because Lloyd had already introduced us to that. The second objective in our course was to identify potential funding sources for each one, to determine the requirement level of controls and returns and investment size and exit strategy. I know this sounds crazy. You probably ask yourself, why would I want to understand the exit strategy when I'm just launching my company? Well, because you want to build toward whether or not you are planning to exit, whether or not you're planning to sell. You want to be able to understand all of the dynamics and the components that are engaged and involved in that process. So that's why you want to be thinking about your exit strategy as you're building, because you may want to do something else. And like us, we have several companies, so we're always thinking about our exit strategy. The third element here was to identify the access challenges faced by women seeking capital. I can't I can't say enough about this one, because sometimes it's very difficult when you are a female looking for capital and you're trying to establish your company. You are very well versed and articulate in what you do. You're very informed about your space and about your venture, and you still can't get capital to or seed money to launch your company. So in this sense, you have women in business who are from the Dyson School of Business at Cornell, who are really giving you an overview and in-depth insight on how you can surpass this tough challenge and that's holding you back. And they give you what I refer to as platinum nuggets on how to work through those challenges so you can get on the other side. So those are the kinds of things you learn how to do. You share your personal stories in this forum, and they actually work with you one-on-one and help you just come up with a strategy and a plan to go to the next level. And the last objective in this course is find the right fit for funding your business based on its stage development. And this is really important because, as I said, you can't be a not-for-profit. This is all designed for for-profit entities. So, understanding each stage of the development of your company is very critical. That's why using Lean Stack was so helpful, because it helps you go through the steps and evolve to the next level. So there's certain things you have to complete before you go to the next level. And these courses are designed around that, making sure that you have those particular products complete before you go to the next level. And if anyone has any questions while I'm sharing, please feel free to ask, and I will certainly address those questions. The fourth course is called Growth Leadership for Female Entrepreneurs. And here we learned basically, we did not have any objectives other than to have an open forum for sharing about the challenges and the uncertainties and the setbacks that we have been experiencing as female entrepreneurs. Sometimes it's very tough when you're out there and you feel like the lone wolf and you really don't have a network of individuals or a quadrille of individuals that can support your proposition. Because first of all, they're most of the people that we choose to speak to are not people in business. Don't ask me why we do that. I don't understand it, but a lot of times I have talk to women that I mentor right now, and I ask them, well, who have you been speaking to? And they say, oh, well, I spoke to my aunt, or I spoke to my sister, or I spoke to my best friend. And then my next question is, are these individuals in business? And they say no. Have they ever had a business? And they say no. And I said, well, I hate to break the news to you, but you need to be speaking to people who can understand the challenges and the uncertainties, people who have actually launched companies. So if you're out there and listening to us tonight, please, if you're having challenges, please choose people that are in business that can truly help elevate you and help you understand difficult situations when you are faced with them. So that basically, course number 4, Growth Leadership for Female Entrepreneurs, was sort of like an open dialogue. It was a course that we had to do homework in, but we had the opportunity to share a lot of our personal and professional experiences. And just to explore, identify the legal challenges that we may face. That was another part that we also talked about as females. The 5th course we talked about and experience was laying the legal building blocks for your venture. We identified the legal challenges and considered how gender affects the way that we approach those challenges. We also explored ways to leverage the law to protect our interests and maximize our options and access your legal vulnerability in several key areas. And we also created a plan to protect ourselves and our venture from common pitfalls. A lot of times, as female entrepreneurs, we don't always make the best choices when it comes to business. So it's always good to make sure that you have what I consider the dream team. That's a person that is well versed in every area. For example, legal, financial, planning, fundraising, whatever the need is, venture investors, investments. Make sure that you have these individuals on your dream team, so you're not just out there just making decisions without vetting those decisions. So it's always good to speak to someone in these professional fields to make sure that you're on the right track. The last course that's in this program is called Product Development and Digital Marketing. This was a fun one. We created a research-based customer profile that guided our development and marketing efforts. You always, I think Bree spoke to this as well, when you are developing a product, you always want to have in mind who am I developing this product for? Who's going to be my customer base?
Mhm.
How am I going to sell this product? What is it going to take for me to be successful? What does my target population look like? Do I have a target population? Is this product or is this company scalable? So you always want to make those considerations when you're talking about launching a company. And I think one of the greatest things that I saw and that I experienced in this process was a lot of women decided, hey, I've launched the wrong company. This is not a scalable company. I don't even know who my customer base would be. They didn't give that any consideration. So, and thinking that way and gathering feedback and doing research and understanding the development and brand positioning and developing a brand positioning statement and actually going out to, we had to actually go out and speak to potential customers. That was I think that was the best experience because I was already doing this with Edgewasi. John and I speak to potential customers all the time. So this was a good review and revisit for me participating in this course. And after all of those things, you get, ta-da, your certificate. And this is how my certificate looks. As you can see, it says Cornell University. This is to acknowledge that Dr. Jessica Griffin has completed the Bank of America Institute at Cornell's certificate program entitled Women's Entrepreneurship. And it's a great feeling to receive this because, like I said, it's a lot of work and you have to be disciplined. You have to be committed to complete it because you will get discouraged just knowing that, hey, when you look at all the elements that are contained in each course, you're like, do I have time for this? And the answer is yes, you do. When you're thinking about building your business and streamlining and making sure you're doing all the right things. So I do recommend this course. This program is a 12-week program. And it can be, like I said, intensive, but it's worth it if you want to sharpen your knowledge, skills, and abilities on making sure you're doing the right things for business. I have posted in the comments section. I think Lloyd will have to. Lloyd, did you say that you'll have to make that available? But I put the link to Bank of America's program right now. They are just developing a wait list, but my recommendation is to get on the wait list for consideration. I also posted a phone number there if you want to call and speak to someone. And if you have any questions, I put my information there and I would love to speak to you about the program as well. But I agree with Bree when she said that anything that you can do to make yourself more sophisticated and more informed as it pertains to doing business, then you should allow yourself to do so. I just think it's important to surround yourself with women that are seasoned, that are doing business, even if it's some kind of round table of individuals that can help tailor and shape your mind. And because it takes a certain kind of person to be it's a difference between a business owner and an entrepreneur. It's just a difference. And so for you to be an entrepreneur, you have to think a certain way and be a certain way and present yourself a certain way. And an entrepreneur never gets tired of working on his and her business. In fact, they get excited, and they are excited about any opportunity that they can have just to present and talk about their business and to help others. So I think being emotionally intelligent is very critical for creators, for innovators, for individuals that have companies that they've launched. If there's one element that I say that they could add to the platform, it would be emotional intelligence, because you have to be emotionally intelligent if you want to be a winner. That means self-aware, You have to have some self-control, internal motivation, empathy, and definitely social skills development, because you're talking about being able to articulate your message. That's communication skills, being able to develop a camaraderie. You just, that's networking and relationship building. And all of these things are very critical and very essential when you're talking about developing business. And I think when you participate in forums such as the ones that Bree and I took time to participate in, you will find yourself being more successful, more in tune, more aware, and more driven, more capable and competent.
So, yes, you said the program was 12 weeks. So,
Yes.
approximately how much time did you have to spend each week, and were the courses at night or during the day or what?
Anytime, Lloyd, you could basically sign in to your course. Each course was open on a biweekly basis. So whenever that course was open, you had a
Okay.
conversation from your leader, your facilitator. They were not called instructors like in a normal setting. They
Yeah.
refer to themselves as leaders or facilitators. And then I basically gave about 10 to 12, maybe
Okay.
15 hours
Okay.
to the process. And I also wanted to say, because of my experience, that I am in process of developing a platform for women entrepreneurs that I will be offering commencing January to local business women. And one of the other things that was unique to my program is that we had women participating from all over the world. So it
Okay.
was not unique to in this country. We had women from Africa, from England, you just name it. They were in place and they were able to participate in this program. So they're open internationally.
Wow,
So
that's really cool.
yeah.
Mhm.
So Bree, how you said your program was 10 weeks?
Yeah, it's a 10-week program. It was a little bit more structured. So on Mondays, we would meet and we would meet with our mentor. So each group had a mentor that was assigned. So that way, you could always not only have access to the facilitator, but also the mentor. And then on Tuesdays and Thursdays, we met each week during that 10-week program. And there was like a PowerPoint presentation. I don't know if you're familiar with Kahoot, but we also did trivia games and things of that nature. There's a discussion blog, all kinds of ways to really engage. So whether you're a person who learns from visually seeing something, or your auditory, or however you might learn best, they digested the material in several ways, right? So there's a PowerPoint presentation, there is a discussion log and post where you like interact with your cohort, your fellow classmates. And then also there were like fun interactive games. So each module, you have an objective to learn, but then they had terminology, they had a slide point presentation. They also had like other supportive documents. So there was a lot of material there. So even if you're new to entrepreneurship, you could digest it easily. But then they also went to great lengths to meet 3 times a week, so that it wasn't a self pace. You had to stay with the class as far as like each week what objective we're devoted to. But for the most part, I really enjoy the fact that they had the material there, so you could go ahead if you wanted to, right? But then if you just wanted to keep pace with the class, that was also acceptable. But each one of the objectives, they made it fun to learn. And then they also made a discussion style presentation. So you got exposed to the material in several different ways.
No, that's a lot of modules there. I'm here looking at it now. I appreciate you sharing that. that link that has all those modules in it. So yeah, that's great. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and they do have a another cohort that they're going to do in the beginning of the year. So if there's an interest from anyone who is listening or watching the live stream, or interested in participating, again, this program is being put on by the Department of Labor. It's through Clark University, and then basically it's Tech Quest apprenticeship. So a really cool opportunity to learn the ins and out of what makes a successful entrepreneur. But the one key thing I did want to say is like the definition of an entrepreneur is a doer. Someone that gets into the trenches and is actually doing it step by step along the way. And that tends to be the best way to learn, is to do it, to actually involve yourself and to have a hands-on approach.
Great. I appreciate that. So we're going to, I wanted to maybe highlight some things that were in the newsletter today, so we can make sure people understand all these opportunities that are out there. So if you get the newsletter, just make sure you figure out a way to sign up, because we have a Founders Opportunity app. It's just out, that's listening, the link to that, and I'll show you that in a second. So we have definitely can't wait to show you this Startup Science portal, and a lot of the courses you all mentioned. Let me just see can I find that real quick here. Let's see, where did I pull it up at? Yeah, that's not it. Here it is. Okay, so so the Kukua Institute now has a portal with the Startup Science stuff in there. So here are the courses that are in there, and so if you go, we can enroll you in this particular online thing, and it's self-paced. You can go through it, but you see it has all these courses in there, and some of them you can do either listen to videos, or you can read, or just listen to audio. You can choose the way you want to do it. And so you see all these things you all were mentioning, about market size and stuff like that, ideal customer profile, acquisition types. I mean, it's just on and on. Exit training, the different, so it's like everything you need to know from the idea stage on. So, look at the newsletter, and you can request to access to this. And this particular portal also that we have, it also lists some of the opportunities that I've been telling you all about, like on the fsuccess.com account thing, where you build your profile, so you can look at the ones that are in here. And I understand that this list will be expanding for a lot more. What we try to do differently with our application that we created, and the link is in the email as well. And so we like we did a newsletter, we break them down based on, like founders of color, and you can look at all the different opportunities that are there. And next week I'll have it where if you see an opportunity that you like, and you'll be able to just click a link to add it to your task list, to your calendar, so you can know to actually remember to do it. But you also can actually search it. And so we're updating that and making sure we want to match you with the opportunities that are out there to kind of move forward, so you can take action and get connected to some of those things. And so the next thing, the Synapse Summit, and they're going to have a $75,000 pitch competition. How many people need some money? And we've also partnered with the Synapse Summit and to make give discounts to our founders for attending that. So here's the link for and like I said, all this is in the newsletter. So FPL, they actually sponsored this pitch competition, and first prize is 500,000, 50,000, 20,000, and 5,000. So that's pretty neat. And so you can submit your application for that, and you can see it's just this one little page thing you have to fill out. So it's not that difficult. And the other thing that you want is they have it where startup can actually exhibit, and so we have some scholarships available. This link is in your email, and you can actually instead of paying the $2,000 for a booth, you pay $250 for a booth, and you get 4 tickets, and you get the exhibit on the day of the deal there. And this is for startups only. And so that's some great opportunities there to kind of move forward with your startup. There are a lot of opportunities out there, and we want to get people actually connected to them. There's definitely no shortage of events. So, did either of you all get to see the video from last week?
I haven't got a chance to watch it yet, Lloyd, but I do have the newsletter that I can send.
Yeah. So like Danielle from Florida Power and Light, and she's the over economic development, and she runs the 35 Muse program. But there were some good questions that were asked, and one of the questions was asked. For their program, which they're going to open up the applications in February, and they give a $100,000 grant for participating in their program. And one of the questions that was asked, do you all work with nonprofits? And she literally said, if the nonprofit is working on a scalable idea, we would consider funding them. So that just blew me away.
That's pretty good, though.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And so I wanted to also mention that for those who might be listening that's not familiar with our Lane Stack training, so we have this training available as well. And so it's broken up into seasons, and the first season is there's a different way. It's just teaching people about building the mindsets and building a scalable model. So that has 5 training things in it. Then season 2 is what our founders of color are doing now, and that's the business model design. It's still in season. Yeah. So it looks like they broke it up a little slightly different than I thought. So yeah, for those folks, they're actually in this season 3, and these are the kind of the things they're doing. But if you notice, these classes are titled totally different than what you mentioned, Jessica, in your training and in your training, and they are different because they're meant to be different. These courses are all about your idea and developing a business model, and then what's different. One common thing is what's different about your product than the rest of the product. How do you get people to switch from the product they're using to your product?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what this is all about. And so it's it's in validating your business model before you spend all that time out there, and then find a year and a half later that your business model is broken.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so that's what this is all about. And so I tend to recommend that founders get their business model scalable, the business model, and that business model is a scalable business model. And I heard you mention, Bree, and you were talking, and it's designing a scalable business model, not just a business model, one that's scalable.
Yeah.
Yeah. This has been really enjoyable to be a part, sharing my experience, Lloyd. Thank you so much. But yeah, there are lots of programs out there for entrepreneurs, and really it's just about time and effort and getting
Mhm.
into the programs and being a doer and completing the programs. But you'll learn a lot. It is time consuming, but once you get on the other end of it, you'll have something that you'll definitely have learned. Is this particular idea or concept scalable? Is it something that the market wants? And that's really what you're in search of.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Yes, my thing is if you take the time to design it, and you can do this scalable business model in way less than a month, and design it, and then you can start validating it after that. But what the beauty of it is even when you're designing your business model, you still can get help. You still can be in pitch competition. You still can get funding
Yes.
and get training. That's what I want people to understand. You don't have to have a business up and running to get funding to kind of move your
Right.
idea forward. So Bree, so you said you won money in the training program you were in. So is that an existing business?
Actually, no, it's just a concept business, Lloyd. The nice thing about the program, my tuition was paid for, and also by winning the competition, I have seed money to start that concept. So win-win.
Yes. So that's the message we're trying to get across. That there are a lot of opportunity out there, and it's just you have to get connected and participate and be involved in the community, and we're here to kind of streamline your process. You don't want to be out there running around till you run out of money, and you don't want to spend a lot of money building something that you haven't validated that somebody actually wants. And so that's kind of what the deal is. So spread the word, and we look forward to working with all the founders, and our training programs are free. So reach out and let's get some more founders all across the country that are on the right track and taking advantage of all this funding and training programs that are out there. Any parting comments before we sign off?
I just want to say thank you as well. And I want to encourage all of these startups out there to just keep pushing, keep focused, and keep grinding, because they will not be disappointed. And definitely just kind of pursue what Lord is saying, pursue those opportunities that you can take advantage of, and making sure that your concept, your program, your product is viable, is scalable, so you don't waste your time in investing in something that's not going to move forward in a very productive and advantageous manner. You want to do something that's going to benefit you and benefit your customer base.
My parting words, I would like to say really quick. I know we're getting at time, but I wanted to say that the way that we went about defining if we had a MVP is through qualitative questions. We got a sample size group of individuals, and we asked them about things that made sense, things that were relative to our product, because we wanted feedback from actual people, and that's how we did our validation. So it can be really simple and straightforward, but you have to know that there is an audience for the product or the service that you're going to be launching. So
fantastic. So we'll next Thursday we'll have our founders of color, or they're doing their pitches, they're doing their demo day pitches, and so definitely tune in. We'll get the links out there for you all to do that, and we're looking forward to them. And follow us on the social media and share all these posts and videos, and follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and all these places, so you can get all the latest information is definitely on our Facebook page. Thank you all, and I appreciate you ladies supporting the program tonight. The program,
Absolutely.
we are the program, the people, the founders, we are the program.
We are the program.
All righty, y'all take care. And guess what? I do have an end broadcast button this time.
Oh, good for you, Lloyd.
All right, bye-bye, everyone.
Bye.